for sinking.
Take one, ash.
Anyway, Leslie, right?
Yeah, Leslie.
Okay. Good to finally have you here.
Yeah.
This picture you showed me, and I think I'll show it on the screen for you guys to see. The picture you just showed me is what actually got me thinking about doing this conversation. And I've seen that image in particular somewhere, but I think every time they mention Leslie or Rock or Les Rock.
Yeah.
But I never put two and two together to realize it is you they are referring to.
Oh, okay.
I think you have a popular brother, right?
Glenn.
Glenn. I think he's popular.
Yeah.
Yes. So, okay.
I don't know about that.
Okay.
I don't know about
Well, in this case, it's good to finally have you here. Your name is Leslie, right?
Yeah, Leslie.
Your kind of artwork is one of those photorealistic way of drawings.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating how you people come up with that. This image, how long does it actually take to create an image like this one?
I mean, there's not actually a time span for making an artwork. It all depends on the artist.
Okay. And how much time you want to spend?
And how much time you want to spend
so
on it.
in a typical artwork like this one, how long does it take? How long did it take you in this particular case?
When I should combine the hours,
Yes.
I would say maybe 90 or 80 hours.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a lot.
It depends on the size of the artwork.
Of course, depending on the size. If you are doing A4, it will definitely take relatively.
Yeah, you get a lesser.
If you are drawing on the entire billboard, that's also going to take.
Sure. But with this particular work, I spent almost 72 hours. Yeah. But, you cannot get all the hours at once. Do you get it?
Yes.
So
you
in a day, you have to spend some time on it so that the following day you spend some time on it. So, but at the end of the whole process, when you combine the hours, I think I have to get 72 hours or something.
That's still a lot of hours.
It's still a lot.
What has been the process like in terms of how you ended up going this direction? Because in my mind, I'm not an artist. I have no artistic. No, I have no artistic qualities when it comes to these kind of things, and so I do not really comprehend what it takes to do these things.
Okay.
But I imagine if somebody wants to do this, or in your case, how do you realize you can do this?
Me personally, sometimes before I come up with these things, I'm someone who normally imagines stuff.
Okay.
Unrealistic stuff.
So you create these ideas?
I just create these ideas in my head. Sometimes on my bed, lying on my bed, I just come up, oh, Charlie, I can do this. Oh. When I put this and this together, I can end up in this. Oh. So why don't I try it? Then
you try putting it into reality.
Very good. So I try to execute my thoughts. I try to execute it on canvas or on any surface.
Okay.
Yeah.
This image, you mentioned you take like a real photo, then you kind of draw it using the charcoal.
Yeah, sure.
I asked earlier, like, why not just use pencil? Why not just use, because pencil is a form of charcoal that you can use to draw. And in my mind, having different pencils with different deepness or grades will help you define how you draw and work faster. But in your case, you still insist on using charcoal. Like, what is?
Starting with this artwork, I started with pencil, doing way back in SHS.
Okay.
Because when you need to start with pencil before you get to different mediums.
The pencil helps you with control.
The pencil helps you with control, and you can erase and you see.
Okay,
but with other media, like I'm now into charcoal and pen.
Pen, okay. Pen is, you do it, you are done. Like,
you are done.
If you have to correct something, you have to start again.
You have to start again, so you don't need to even make a mistake. You don't need to even make a mistake.
There is basically no room for error.
There's no room for error.
And
so, before coming to the charcoal and pen, I started with pencil, and that helped me a lot to know my ways around these things.
Okay.
You get it? So when I got to the tertiary, I got there and I was so enlightened about this artwork. So I got there and I was like, oh, I was playing. Let me diagram. So I had to, up my
game.
My game.
Okay.
Do you get it? So I said to myself that so if I can use pencil to do these things, I can try other media.
Yeah.
So I ventured in charcoal, and it ended up well than I expected.
You like the results you were seeing?
It ended up well. So I was like, oh, okay. Then I can also tap in
that area and
I can also tap that area and add it to whatever I have already or I know already.
And I think the charcoal gives a feeling that is unique.
Very good. That's how come I chose charcoal over the pencil.
Okay.
The pencil gives you different effects than the charcoal.
Okay.
The charcoal, I don't know how I'll put it, but the charcoal gives some hyper-realistic effects.
Yes.
Although the pencil can give that, but
yes,
I prefer using the charcoal.
And I agree because when you look at the charcoal image, it's different. It's I don't know, it's hard to describe what is different, but it looks, I would think of it as, it's like even in photo editing, black and white images. Some black and white images look more appealing than others.
Very good.
This charcoal kind of creates that feeling it's black and white, but
yes, still it gives you that.
It's hard to describe. I don't know.
I don't know how to.
Yes, I also
describe it, but
people might have the correct words to use, but there's and it's the how photorealistic it is to mix it. Like you're able to connect with the image. When somebody sees that image without context, they might think it's a photo.
It's the photo
that you've made it into black and white.
Yes, true. Normally people that come across my work even don't know that it's an artwork.
Yes.
I normally does it such a way that I just want a layman to see the work and he's like, picture being.
Yeah.
As soon as he says that, and I know that yes, I've arrived at my destination. That's what I wanted people
for them to kind of
feel about the work. I'm into hyperrealism.
Yeah.
So all my work I do, I make sure that that trait is in all my artworks.
I see.
Yes.
And how long have you been doing this?
I've been doing this for almost. It's been long. Since SSO.
Since SSO.
But
okay.
I ventured into this more when I was in the tertiary, level 100.
As in you made it a career?
Yeah, I made it a career. I think when I got to level 100, I had my first commission work.
Oh.
It was even sculpture. I did sculpture.
You also
I did sculpture, yeah.
As in with clay? Or
yeah, with clay. I mean, sculpture is broad.
Yes.
It may be in clay, stone, cement, wood, everything.
Okay.
Sculpture is very broad. So I majored in sculpture and graphic design. That's what I wanted to do in the tertiary. Yes. So when I got to the tertiary, I was like, whoa, I have so many, challenges to overcome because there are a lot of things I have to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah. I realized that
you were joking, eh?
I'm way behind.
Yeah.
So I had to, step up and do you get it? So I decided to behave as if I don't know anything when I got to the tertiary. So whenever I come across any new idea, I'm like, oh, okay. I behave as if I don't know.
Yeah.
So I quite remember one lecture of mine. We were asked to draw a portrait.
Okay.
A conceptual portrait. But because they didn't know me, when we go to school, at level 100, when everyone gets to school, everyone wants to show off and, hey, Charlie, we'll be up a
I mean, you've all arrived, so.
Yeah, so I'm that reserved type.
Okay.
I know how to do it, but I will not let you know that I know how to do it. So I was like, okay. So I was just observing, and then tapping from what
they know and then
and adding it to mine. Do you get it? So the day the lecturer told us to submit the works, I submitted mine. No one knew me. So the gurus sent their works first, and our classroom or our lecture room is such a way that there is how do I say it? A board all over the wall.
Okay.
all over the classroom. So when we bring our artworks
you put them
for marking, they are pasted on the wall for appreciation and criticism.
Yeah.
So the works were pasted, and I brought. I decided to bring my work last.
Okay.
So everyone was watching me and was expecting what I would do.
This guy will bring.
And the lecturer removed the work from. It was in a brown envelope.
Yeah.
So the lecturer removed it from the brown envelope, and as soon as the lecturer removed it, he was like,
"A la Star Wars."
He just gave me a glance, and I was like, "Did you really do this work?"
And at the time, it was this photorealistic
hyperrealism. Yes.
And so that was the work you submitted at the time.
That was the work I submitted at level 100. No one expected me to do that work.
Yes.
So when the lecturer saw the work, he was even surprised. At level 100, are you sure you were the one who did this work, or you gave it to someone to do it for you? He was just skeptical about the whole thing. So he didn't even paste the work there. He just put it on his desk and asked me to go and sit down. So like everyone was like, what's going on? What's going on? I was like, oh, okay. You don't know. You get to know later. So after the appreciation and the criticism, the lecturer pasted the work, and everyone was like, whoa. So since then, everyone got to know that, oh, Charlie, Leslie, you are good.
And I think the hyper-realistic kind of drawing is not a popular kind of artwork you would find.
Yeah, but it's there.
It's there.
But it's not common.
It's not common. I think online there was this guy who, he's been drawing, I've forgotten him, but there's this popular guy.
We have so many artists.
And
I've forgotten the name, but we have so many artists.
But in Ghana here, I don't think there are as many hyper-realistic artists as there are. Outside, there are a lot more.
There are so many
in Ghana here, I think at the time too, when you submitted your work, very likely nobody in that class submitted a work like that.
No one submitted.
Definitely. Within that, you were the only one doing that kind of artwork, which was different, it's unique, and the way it is hyper-realistic also kind of
because it's hyper-realistic, it's very catchy. When you see the work, you just get close to it.
And I think this form of artwork is what recently there's this artificial intelligence that is creating artwork and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's coming up in so many ways, confusing people a lot.
Sure.
Recently, a guy created an Instagram page with only AI-generated images, and they looked hyper-realistic.
Very good.
And people were angry at him for trying to deceive people and stuff like that. With what you were mentioning earlier regarding your commission work, people get the impression that AI might one day take over artwork like yours. But I believe the physical touch of it will always remain, because you went to take an image and based on that image, do the artwork.
Yeah, sure.
But then the person wanted the artwork over the image because the physical handy part of it adds some sentimental value to it.
If the client wanted an digital image, they could have
taken
and printed
it easily. But then your touch to it, the feel of having
the manual,
there is some sentiment, there is some story to it.
This thing started not today, but it started long ago, during the Renaissance period. And talking about Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, they were all, artists, handmade artists.
So here's a question. Let's say you've been commissioned by 10 organizations to do artwork. How do you go about it? Because if you are spending, let's say, on average, 80 hours on an artwork, that means either you are going to have to charge more or you're going to spend relatively longer to deliver. Do you have like a specific set of clients you can handle within a certain period of time? How do you go about it?
So normally, I mean, this in our line of work, normally it doesn't come continuously. You get it? But when it happens that way, You, the artist, you are the one who knows yourself. You have to know yourself. You have to know the time frame you need to
accomplish a work.
Very good, accomplish a work. Do you get it? If you don't know these things,
you stress yourself.
Stress yourself up.
Yeah.
So as an artist, you have to know, your strength, how you work faster, and your work rate. Okay. Do you get it?
Yeah.
These things helps you to, know how to work within a time frame to get to a deadline of a work.
Yeah.
Because normally in a line of work, deadline, we don't take deadline for granted. When is the deadline? Is the deadline. You don't have to surpass the deadline. Yeah. Do you get it? Or you don't have to go over, or like, how do I say it? You don't have to
go past the deadline.
Go past the deadline.
Basically, and I think the deadline is something you give to the client. Because when they come, they are like, I want you to do this image.
Very good. So it's not that they are the one giving you the deadline.
You the
artists are giving the deadline. So when you say it, you have to execute the way.
Exactly. And immediately you don't, then it means you are
not trustworthy.
And I think the skill of estimation is something, the more experienced you become, the better you are. Because software developers in their early days have a very difficult thing estimating how long it will take to do a task.
Sure.
I imagine the more advanced you become, the easier the estimation becomes, because you now know yourself enough to also understand the work and know, okay, this one will take me X amount of time within this number of days.
Very good.
And so in your case, when the work come in,
so assuming that 5 clients has given me a work within a same time frame.
Yeah.
As an artist, what you have to do is you need to, let's say, all the 5 works. When you are doing one client, an artwork for one client, you may use maybe 30 hours for it. Okay. You don't have to say exactly, you don't have to give the client exactly 30 hours for the deadline.
Yeah.
At least you have to add some. Just for
any eventualities.
Unforeseen circumstance or something. Because as soon as you give him the exact time limit, it goes against you.
Yes.
Because you wouldn't know. Something
Anything
might come
can happen. Your pet might decide to go and urinate.
Very good. I had this incident. Let me chip this in. I was doing a work for a client, and the deadline was just 2 days.
Okay.
So I had just roughly 48 hours to finish the work.
Okay.
So I had sleepless nights doing this. I didn't sleep. I had to sit down and work so that I can, just miss the deadline. And finishing the work, 30 minutes. Oh no, I was able to finish the work before the 48 hours.
Okay.
And unfortunately, one of our relatives came to visit us in the house, and they were having these little kids.
Yeah.
I didn't know what happened. Somewhere, somehow, the kids were able to enter my room.
And
I have this pencil. The pencils and the pastels are there. So when they saw the artwork, they are so intelligent that they knew that these things are useful.
So
they just picked it up and also added their version to it.
Improvement. Think of it that way.
Charlie, Rex, Charlie. When I go home, I went to town. When I go home and saw this thing,
well,
I was furious.
Yeah.
Because
they were having fun. At the end of the day, you did your artwork, they are improving it for you.
The thing is, even if I had time, I wouldn't have been furious like that.
Yeah.
Because the time frame is too small for me to do a whole thing again.
It happens.
But
here's the thing. The second one you do, the image will come out better because...
Rex, the image even came out better than the first one I did. And that's how things are. Do you get it?
How do people get to see your work? And then how much of, I normally say, for a sika bottle to how much how much do they have to? Because I imagine, considering the number of hours that goes into those, it is going to be relatively expensive achieving such work. So first of all, like, how do people get to see your work? How do they get in touch with you? Let's say for you there right now, you are here, so I can send you the image I want. So what kind of images also don't you do? So are you able to do landscape, or you only do portraits? Do you do night?
I do landscape, I do portraits.
Okay.
I do, it depends on, portrait can be animated and inanimate.
Yes.
Do you get it?
Yes.
So I do everything.
Okay.
Depending on what you want, the client, depending on what you want.
Okay. So, and then how do they get to see your work? You're on Instagram, right?
I'm on Instagram. Okay. I'm on Instagram.
Pretty much. That's where.
Yeah, that's where you can get to know me.
I'm going to put the handle on the screen. Yeah. But then, on a typical image, let's say you see this image in the background here. The size. Let's say I want an artwork of myself, a portrait of myself in this size. Okay. How much loan do I need to go from IMF to be able to afford you?
Right, you don't need to go. You don't need to go for a loan. You don't need to go for a loan.
So in typical artworks like that, depending on the complexity, what is the range of how much normally one will have to pay?
Normally, the price of my artworks depends on the size you want. Do you get it? And the type of media you want me to use for your artwork.
Oh, do you get it? And the media is the
medium. The medium can be the pencil.
Charcoal or
the medium you are using for the artwork is called the media.
Media.
Okay. When it's single, we call it medium. When it's collective.
So in this case, whether I wanted pencil or charcoal,
whether I want a pencil or charcoal or pen or wet, I do wet media and dry media. Okay. But for now, when you go to my page, you just find dry media.
That's using the charcoal
or the charcoal or the pen or the pencils. Do you get
the wet will be using paint?
Acrylic paint.
Acrylic paint.
Or watercolor.
Watercolor. Okay.
Very good. But for now, I'm more into the dry media.
Yeah.
I just want to, sway a little bit to the wet media and see how things pan out. Yeah. Do you get it? And I'm also into sculpture. Okay. Normally, people don't get to see my works because I don't normally post them. I don't normally post them online.
Why don't you?
I don't know. With sculpture, I don't know. I don't normally post them. I don't know. I find it more. How would I say it? I wouldn't say.
Do you like the word of mouth approach of people recommending you, like people who use your service?
Very good. Very good.
Do you find that
normally people recommend?
Do you find that to be more effective than the social media?
Oh no, I wouldn't say the social media is not effective. Honestly, the social media is more effective. Okay. But sometimes you need the recommendations too.
Yes, because
but someone can even find your work on social media, but because the person doesn't know you and has seen you for the first time,
that is something
there's a little bit.
There is a, and that is what I've been
sometimes approaching you, they need someone to give them the go ahead to approach.
That usually comes out effectively and immediately. For example, if I recommend you to somebody, that person is going to find it way easier booking you than them finding you for the first time on their own.
You know what? The person know who you are.
And
if Rex is recommending someone for me, then it means the person is
And it happens like that because when BK tells me, oh, this is the guy who did my lights for me.
Very good.
I call the guy and I don't go back and forth.
You don't go back and forth because
if anything, I'm going back to BK.
Very good,
my guy.
Very good. So you get something to stand on, or you have a little bit of confidence in the person because
trying to work with them and don't have to stress because I know that if BK used this guy, then it means, and I know
automatically
BK is not insane.
Very good. You get it.
And I think that is where this whole recommendation comes in.
I really like the recommendation. When someone recommends me for someone, I feel
it works. Yeah. It works because when the person is approaching you, they are approaching you not as a stranger, but at least there's a bit of background to it.
There's a bit of connection and
And I think it works in many ways. It works the same way when instead of getting into the DM of a sister, if a brother recommends you or a sister recommends you, Russell, are you listening?
With the DMs, seriously, with social media, sometimes people are a little bit skeptical because of this frosters
and stuff like that.
So when they are approaching you, they are a little bit skeptical about, certain things.
But then if somebody gives them a bit of
go ahead or the recommendation, this person, he's very good. So
that is why when I'm entering the DMs of sister, I want earlier recommendation.
It's very necessary, Rex. Recommendations are very necessary. Recommendations are very necessary.
So you are on Instagram, and do you create videos related to the behind the scenes of some of these? Because I'm sure if you make them on, let's say, TikTok or YouTube, people would like to.
Yeah. I'm now venturing into it because the camera I was using got faulty, so
you can use your phone.
I can use my phone though. Yeah, I can use.
You don't have to stress because many of these, the ones I've seen on YouTube and TikTok, they don't have worrying themselves with.
Oh yeah, sure.
It's just and people are not interested in. They are interested in the process, not necessarily using big cameras and whatever.
End result, the end product.
So it doesn't have to be top quality, BBC documentary.
Sure.
For them, their gears or whatever.
So I need to start doing.
and it can be 30 seconds, just showing the process, whatever goes on behind the scenes.
Because a lot entails in these things. Honestly, in Africa here, people having these misconceptions about art, drawing. You immediately you tell someone you're an artist, the flow up statement is, and also it's my drawing.
Yes,
but art is not just about drawing someone. It goes way beyond just drawing
from the
someone.
thinking process to the whole coming up with
a lot entails in drawing. A lot entails in art, honestly. A lot entails in that.
And it requires time and hard work.
It's very time consuming. So if you don't dedicate yourself to these things, you cannot come up with anything good. You have to dedicate your life for it. Although you can do it part-time, but still have the passion for whatever you are doing.
And would you recommend people doing the kind of work you're doing full-time here in Ghana? Here's a random question. Do you think that you would have been, you would have made a lot of money if you were somewhere else instead of Ghana?
Oh, Rex, this is not even a question. You yourself, Rex, this is not even a question.
I want to believe the appreciation for creative works here in the country
that's what I said earlier, that here in Africa, people don't really appreciate artworks. Do you get it? Or fine art. Let me put it that way. People don't really appreciate fine art because they have this misconception. Say, oh, Charlie, this thing are nothing. They are just it just add up to something. But hey, when you go to developed countries, they don't take these things for granted, especially fine art.
And the average person on the streets kind of values these things.
Yes.
And that is it, because if you hear some of the artwork and how much they sell them, you realize the average person appreciates it.
Yeah.
And in that case, when you are pricing, it's not
even the average person. For you to appreciate an artwork, you need to be learned.
That comes into play. Because
an ordinary person, if you are ordinary, you cannot appreciate an art. So me, for instance, when I do an artwork and you come and just look at it like a layman point of view, I'm okay. I understand you.
Yes.
Because I don't need to stress myself for you to understand what.
Yes. And not everybody would understand it.
Not everyone will understand.
Yes.
You need to be learned.
Yeah.
So me, for instance, I am people who patronize my artwork are learned people.
And you see, there is actually a spectrum to this. And here's the thing. Just as there is the low end of it where people might not appreciate it, artwork also sometimes go to the point where, for lack of a better word, it becomes stupidity. Let me give you an example. You know that white artwork that sold for millions of dollars?
Yes.
Does it really make sense?
You see? Do you know why it is sold for that huge amount of money?
It's the person and less of the artwork.
It's
or
not
what?
the person. Because you see, people don't is the conceptual meaning
come on.
behind the artwork. It's not,
how do you convince me?
Honestly, you can just do like the artwork I showed you.
Yes.
You can just go to the market and they can auction it for just $1.
Yes.
Yes, you've done the artwork.
Yes.
It's nice. It is good. But what message does it, what message does it communicate?
So it's basically audience? How you're able to brand your story.
Very good.
How you're able to market or present it.
Art is all about storytelling.
So you see, that's the thing. And for the ordinary person on the street like myself, when I saw that blank canvas, I was like, wait, is there a hidden text somewhere for?
Very good.
And I'm like,
hidden.
So
it's not just the blank. It's not just the blank canvas.
Because
it's the message behind it.
And that is, I think that is one thing that makes people, when the ordinary person like me sees it, I'm like, yo, this thing sold for that amount of $1 million. Then, I mean, when you see such artwork, do you get angry that I don't know how to put it, but do you feel as if such kind of artwork is in a way given a bad name for the kind of work you put? Because here's the thing, to be honest, that blank white sheet didn't take 72 or 80 hours to come up with.
Very good.
But then it sold for millions. But your canvas isn't selling for millions yet. So
yeah. When you look at it from that point of view, you might say that then you are just wasting your time doing what your with art, you cannot do everything.
Of course.
In art, you cannot. So that's the person, style.
Okay.
He just feel like, okay, let me just sprinkle a little bit of wet acrylic paint on a canvas.
I've seen those types too.
You can see some artwork, they just sprinkle, acrylic paint on it
randomly and
they are selling it for millions.
Yo.
Yes, it's the message behind it. So you can just glance at the artwork and you are like, what is this? But the message behind what is done, you have no idea. When they are breaking it down for you, you get to understand why it is sold for that huge sum of money. So it's all about the message behind your artwork. That's why I'm into conceptual artworks. I don't just, even if I'm drawing your portrait, I just want to add some conceptual feel to it, to send a message to the public. Do you get it? So the artwork I showed you right now, the title was Reliever.
Okay.
So
the one with the water on it.
The water. So you see the water pouring on her with her eyes closed. You even not knowing the title of the work, you feel that no, this thing is refreshing. This person is in some comfort. Do you get it? So that's what I normally chip into my art.
That's really good. I think your artwork collection, just as you came in, is what clicked in my mind that I've seen this image somewhere, and so finally having the guy here is good. I've seen one or two more of your images, and immediately I see it, I ask, they mention your name, but it doesn't really click.
Yeah.
Because and so at this point in time, like, do you have plans of maybe venturing fully into other fields, or
that has been my prayer. That has been my ambition.
Okay.
Do you get it? Right after school, I was like, I cannot be doing, I cannot be working for someone. Charlie, Charlie, the owners who would take all the money and give you just a peanut. Do you get it?
And do you find working for yourself at the moment, like, I imagine you get flexible time to do whatever you want. You're able to schedule your time to do your artwork as and when you want it.
Sure.
Do you find it to be lucrative enough that you are in a comfortable league with the kind of artwork?
You see, for you to, let your artwork to be lucrative enough for you to even stop any other work and focus on your own thing, it all depends on you.
Okay.
Do you get it? I always say that as an artist, you need to value yourself.
Yes.
And when you add value to
Russell,
to everything,
listen.
when you add value to everything you do, you don't even talk too much.
Yes.
You know, the thing rather sell itself. That's my principle.
You won't post for Instagram how many times a week? Boss, continue.
So what I normally do is, although fine, what I'm doing now is not projective enough for people to see and for me to get all the accolades and all the attention.
Yeah. So it's good. Say in So it's good. You were talking about value. I don't know whether he finished with that.
Yeah. So like I was saying as an artist, sometimes this thing is a process.
Yeah.
So once you are not there, don't rush it.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't know what you are about. Yeah. As an artist, you need to know what you are about. You need to know what you are doing, so that you can explain it very well for people who don't understand what you are doing. That is value to me. And for you to also add value, you need to, let me say, as an artist, you need to upgrade yourself. You need to be current. You need to know what the current things, current issues, current things you can add to whatever you are doing to improve your craft. When you don't do that, you become static. And you don't progress as an artist. So that's what I believe. Although I'm not there yet, but in anything I do, I just add value to whatever I do. And when you do that, you'll be there one day and boom, your artwork, just one of your artwork will just...
And I've been seeing this artwork being shared around a bit, so definitely it's gradually going to get there.
Yeah.
I think this has been a good conversation. I'm going to put a link to your Instagram in the description, and for anyone interested in getting it, they can reach out and then discuss the exact specifications they want, and based on that, they can get a price in CDs pegged to the dollar.
It's affordable. My works are affordable. Honestly, my works are affordable. I think about my clients, so I don't give exorbitant prices.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
But you need to start pricing in CDs pegged to the dollar.
Rex, when I start doing that, people run away from my artworks. So.
They should run away. If they are running away to go to another country, then it's good.
Oh yeah, what you are saying is true. We need to start.
Yes,
because we need to start doing that. Because
I think it is what it is.
It is what it is. It is what it is. Come on, man.
Anyway,
it is what it is.
Thanks for joining us today for this conversation.
Thank you for having me, Rex. Thank you.
It's a good one. We'll keep in touch.
Yeah, sure.
Thanks. Yeah. Anyway.